and then you wait. All right, guys, we're live. We're here.
What's going on? What's going on?
Yeah, see what I mean? Once again, I can't see anything here.
What on your stream?
Hey, do you hear background right there?
Are they watching in the living room?
Yeah, Regina is.
Hey, Regina.
She's got us on the big screen out there.
Nice.
Now I can hear much of a delay. Can you hear that delay back here? I mean, can you hear it? Okay, good. I was hoping my mic weren't picking it up.
I hear it a little bit. I got earbuds in too. Yeah, well, Sam's got headphones on, so
I gotcha. Hey, Tracy. Hey, Jennifer. Good to have you guys with us tonight.
What's going on? I think Tracy and Tommy moved their show tonight. Sneaky, sneaky.
Yeah, I knew you'd put a post that you weren't having it the other day. So, Jimmy coming in as well.
What's going on, Jimmy?
See you there, Jimmy. Jimmy, man, he's been the host with the most here lately. I've seen him everywhere.
Yeah, so. He's making moves. I think he's creeping up on 500 last I saw.
Hey, there you go, Jimmy.
Nice.
Yeah, Tracy, I saw that. I'm like, he sleeps? That's crazy.
I have this new laptop, man, so it's kind of little things keep popping up. Hey, have you fixed this yet? No.
You got it today?
Yeah. Dude, I waited in Walmart for like 3.5 hours.
True? What, did you order it online?
Well, I got all the way up there. Like, for those of you guys don't know, like, I'm about 45 minutes away from Walmart from my house.
Yeah.
Especially with beach traffic. I get all the way up there and realize that I left my bank card at home. So I was like, oh my gosh, I just ordered it online, like store pickup.
Yep.
So that I was waiting on them. It's like, gosh. I kept looking at it saying, guys, I had it in my hand. Like, I literally have it right here. Like, just to prove it. Callie, good to have you coming in. Frank, thank you guys for being here. We're going to get started here soon. Yeah, last night when I was trying to get in StreamYard and stuff, I was having problems. My computer was crying out for help. So hopefully I'm a little bit clearer today.
Homestone.
Hey. Thanks for coming in, bro. Harry, I was thinking about you the other day. I picked up a Guitar Hero guitar after we'd had our talk. That's like a $75 guitar. So one of those things. Okay. All right, guys. Well, it's good to have you here today. We have a special guest with us. This is actually someone I know outside of YouTube. I think I've known Ken for about 14, 15 years, something like that, Ken.
Yeah, it's got to be at least that long.
You said Lauren's 28, so
yep.
I would say at least 15 years.
Yeah.
So, man, so like I said, Ken is someone I have known that long, and we'll kind of get into our story a little bit later on, but he is a more recent reseller. And so we've talked a lot about this kind of stuff and obviously other things. I've watched his kids grow up with my kids and all that kind of stuff. So he does a lot of homesteading as well, but we'll introduce that as we get into the show. So Ken, why don't you go ahead and tell everybody about yourself a little bit?
My name's Ken. Yeah, introduction time. As you can see, my YouTube channel is Island Homesteader. Gosh, I've been on YouTube since like 2012, I think is when I put my first video on. Always been like homesteading videos, beekeeping videos, stuff like that. So that's what I do. Eric got me started reselling on eBay about the end of January, I think is when I made my first sale, and haven't looked back since then. As a matter of fact, we just bought a house a couple weeks ago, and one of the selling points for the house was that the whole attic was wide open, and my wife's already given me permission to convert half of the attic to my eBay room because she's tired of looking at the stuff. So there was a motive for that. But yeah, so I'll be spending the next few weeks converting the attic to my eBay space. But so yeah, I've been doing this since January. What else? I've been an EMT for 23 years. It was 23 years in April. So seen pretty much all there is to see out there, I think.
Yeah.
And I live on Hatteras Island. That's
So
where
guys,
the island part comes from.
There you go. So guys, as always, if you're here and you have questions, if you'll type them in the chat with a capital letters, we will try to get to that, try to stay on top of the chat as well. And always good to have Sam with us. Dapper Tiger. I know everybody that I see in here at this point, unless you're just lurking and I don't know you, they know who Sam is. But so, man, we do thank you guys for being here. Ken, thanks for coming on board. Man. And we'll go ahead and get started. Kat, good to have you. Hatteras Island, Tracy, is actually on the Outer Banks. If you look at on the map, you'll see like a little piece sticking off of North Carolina in the middle of the ocean, and that's where it's at. Closest place to the Gulf Stream on the East Coast.
And if you're ever watching the Weather Channel during hurricane season, every hurricane is always so many 100 miles from Cape Hatteras, and that's where I'm at, right on Cape Hatteras.
Yeah, that's it. Tommy, thanks for coming in. Kat, good to see you. Tommy must have woke up from his nap, huh, Tracy? It's good to have you guys in. There you go. So Ken, so tell us a little bit about getting started reselling. Like, what was the first thing you had, all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, Eric, like I said, Eric got me started in it, was telling me about, I didn't even know he was doing it for a while. I'm not even sure how we got to talking about it, but he started telling me about what he was doing. And, you know, it sounded pretty cool. So his suggestion was to start selling stuff that I had around the house. And coincidentally, I had not long before that pulled like a whole collection of tractors, toy tractors I had down out of the attic that I bought when, gosh, I was 18, 19 years old, right out of high school. I worked at a tractor and farm implement company, and we sold all different brands of toy tractors. So every paycheck I would pick up tractors. So I pulled all them things out of the attic, and that was the first things I listed and started selling them. And then I got to the point where I was like out of tractors, so I had to start finding something else. So then Eric kind of showed me the ways on thrift storing and a little bit of yard sale. We haven't done that many yard sales together, but done a lot of thrift store trips together.
Yeah. Dude, and I know you love sniping on the Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah, he didn't teach me that. I kind of picked that up on my own. Sneak around them all the time.
Yeah, I was in the backstage.
You got to be quick.
Yeah, in the backstage we were talking about how like Eric constantly is like telling me, "Oh yeah, Ken like found this deal on Facebook Marketplace. I'm going here, or he's going here." It's like, because I know you guys have to travel a ways, and I guess that's tough too with it being touristy and stuff.
Yeah, Eric's an hour up the road from me, at least an hour, a little bit longer in this kind of traffic in the summertime. So yeah, a lot of times, poor guy, I give him a call and say, "Hey, you going out of the house today?" He's like, "Yeah, what do you need me to pick up?" So I bought something, and I'll PayPal him the money, and he'll go pick it up for me and hold on to it till I see him the next time. But
that's awesome.
It's nice to have a local network.
Yeah, especially you just cut out. I mean, that's like 2 hours out of your day that you have to like go.
Yep.
So what do you like to pick up? What do you look out for on Facebook Marketplace?
Gosh, anything they put out there. I mean, I stick pretty much with hard goods. I don't do clothes. Every once in a while I'll pick up a pair of shoes. But I haven't sold that many shoes, so I don't pick up that many. But hard goods, electronics, games, that sort of thing. So
Yeah, it's funny with Ken calling me. I was like, dude, not only did he catch something that I missed, but now I'm going to pick it up for him. I was like, what do you got today? It helps when he's on the EMS work schedule a lot of times too. Like I said, in the downtime, he's sniping because he's messaged me before. And, hey man, do you got the? Did you see this on there? And I was like, nah, I missed that. But yeah, he also put out some ads a while back. Well, not really ads, but just requests. Like when the Corona stuff first hit, he put out the thing about it. But he's got any video games, and he had great response for that.
Yeah, that worked really well. So I would certainly recommend that to anybody. You know, if you don't see a lot of stuff on Facebook, but you got plenty of yard sale sites and stuff like that, just get on there and make a post and tell people what you're looking for. I had, like Eric said, I had a lot of people respond to that, so that worked out really good for me.
That's awesome. Have you tried like apps like Nextdoor?
No, because I don't know that we really have that many. I mean, I've got Let Go. I've got that app, and I've seen some of that and OfferUp, but I haven't done much with it. A little bit of Craigslist. I have picked up a couple of Craigslist deals, but that's pretty much it. Facebook is my biggest one, Facebook Marketplace. And then I'll look around. We're a small place, so it's kind of hard to find. I mean, I'll get on Craigslist or OfferUp, Let Go, and some of those people are 2 and 3 hours away, and that's local to us when we come up on those apps. So I'm not going to travel that kind of time unless it's really something worthwhile. Unless me and Eric plan a big trip up to Virginia together and make a couple-hour drive and make a day out of it.
Hit it all the way up and all the way back.
Stuff out here. Yeah, for sure. We if we plan a trip like that, we plan multiple stops, multiple locations, drifting up and back.
Every Walmart
one of the
we go by.
Things about where, a little RA, a little.
He's shown me some of that. I didn't do any of that on my own, but he's shown me some of that. So I have made some few RAs because of him. So
yeah. I know he was like talking about it. Like I'll be on the phone and be like, "Oh, Ken found another thing." And then he's like, "I don't know, man. I feel like I kind of shot myself in the foot, like taught him too much."
He's well on top of me all the time. That ain't a problem.
Well, he said your first 90 days was like 10K. 10K in your first 90 days. That's fantastic, man.
Yeah, I was stoked. Yeah, a little short of 90 days when I crossed over the 10K mark. Yeah, really excited.
Do you ever source when you're like, I don't know, on a ride?
No, I don't think they would appreciate that. They see the ambulance parked in front of a thrift store or a yard sale or something. Somebody would be getting a phone call.
You're triaging somebody and there's like a box of just thrifted stuff.
Going through somebody's house, picking her up with a heart attack. Yeah. Hey, you going to keep that in 64 when you get back from the hospital?
Don't mind the Guitar Hero guitar.
Yeah, that's right. No, I don't think that would go over very big.
Yeah.
Although I was working yesterday, and I was up the road at our main station up the road, and somebody from down here texted me and said, "Hey, are you working?" I said, "Yeah, I am." They're like, "Oh man, somebody up the road's got a beehive underneath their house. We need you to go look at." I'm like, "Well, I'm up here." So I said, "Shoot me the address, and if it's close enough, I'll stop." So sure enough, I did. I stopped, pulled up in this old couple's driveway in the ambulance, knocked on their door, and they're like, "Can I help you?" I'm like, "Yeah, I know it's kind of odd with an ambulance, but I'm here to look at your bees." So I crawled under their house a little bit, looked at their bees in uniform, then got back in the ambulance and got out of there.
Did you take them back with you, or are you
No, I scheduled it. I scheduled it for next week. I'm gonna go up and do it.
Dude, I want to do beekeeping stuff.
Dude, I love it.
I was gonna take a course, and then COVID ruined my learning experience, and I probably was juggling too many things.
All I did was read. I wish I had started sooner. That's my biggest regret about beekeeping. I wish I had started sooner, because I took like 2 hours reading everything I could read, watching a ton of YouTube videos, and because I felt the same way. I'm like, man, I don't know anything about this. I don't want to do it without knowing something. But then I just jumped in, and like I said, I wish I had started a couple years before I did.
Do you sell any of the stuff? Like you have honey, you harvest honey.
Yeah.
Do you sell any of it online?
I do. Yeah. When I get enough of it, I've only ever done it once. I mean, you know, I've given it away to family and church friends, stuff like that. But last year was the first time I ever sold any. I actually had about, I don't know, 4 gallons or so, 4.5 gallons extra that I wasn't going to keep for myself or give away. So yeah, packaged that all up in little 1/2 pint cannon jars and put one post up on Facebook, told people what I was selling it for. And within 12 hours, I had sold like 65, 66 1/2 pint jars.
That's awesome.
So people just coming to the door to pick it up, didn't even have to deliver.
Because what was it? Cat's in here.
Yeah, Cat was in here earlier.
Well, I was gonna say Cat used to like sell stuff like plants and Spanish moss from her yard and stuff like that. So I know there's definitely like a market for that, you know.
Oh yeah. Yeah, for sure. No doubt.
Whenever we used to go to like Six Flags, we would get I think they're called alder cones, and like people in the shrimping community like love it. And you find this stuff on the ground, and like a little baggie is like $20. So like whenever we go to Six Flags, we're just like, you know, we know the spot now, so we just like kind of harvest it and we hang on to it. People are like, what are they doing? Like, cool. Oh, nothing. Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. I don't know anything about that. I've never heard of those.
Yeah. How about like plants and stuff? Like I know you have your own raised bed and stuff.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I haven't grown anything this year because we knew we were going to be moving. So it was too much trouble to put a garden in and then try to pick it up and move it. Although most of the stuff I do in portable stuff anyway. I grow a lot of stuff in 5-gallon buckets or 5-gallon grow bags. I almost hate to say grow bags because that has a kind of wrong connotation to it. But yeah, 5-gallon grow bags, 10-gallon grow bags, that sort of thing. Because, you know, obviously we live right in the middle of a hurricane zone. So when a hurricane comes through, I can go grab those things and put them like up on a deck because the yard where I'm at here floods. You know, the hurricane we had last year, we had like 3 feet of water in my backyard. So I grow everything portable anyway, so I can pick it up and move it. But I just didn't have time this year. But yeah, we've always grown a lot of stuff. So awesome. And it's easy. You know, it's most people think growing something is difficult, but it's not near as difficult as most people think it is. So
do you ever sell live plants on the internet?
I haven't. No. It's something to think about though.
I've gotten stuff like from Amazon. I've gotten like a goji berry bush one time from Amazon.
Yeah.
A couple live plants from like cacti from eBay. So cacti go depending on like the breed and the type. Like, you know, a 6-inch cacti could go for like $40-$50.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I bought some plants last spring off of it was a Facebook group. I don't even remember what it was called, but some guy I was looking for like culinary ginger, and I bought ginger and turmeric root off of Facebook. They were already rooted, started plants, and grew them in 2 great big pots on the backyard and had ginger and turmeric last year.
What's up?
So
Harry asked about hurricanes. Have we set through a Cat 3?
Yeah. Let's see. I don't even remember how many Cat 3 so far. Hurricane Emily, I guess, was probably the first Cat 3 I ever sat through, and that was a long time ago. And then there's been a couple since then. Yeah, I've never left since I've lived here. Let's see. I moved here in spring of '88, and I've never left for a hurricane since then. So
it's almost more of a hassle to leave and try and come back.
Absolutely. I mean, I send my family out, especially when my kids were little. I'd pack them up and send my wife and kids off. But with my job, I can't leave. It's always one of those things where they tell you, you know, we're essential. Just like through this whole C word stuff, you know, we're essential. We can't not be at work. So we have to set at work right through the middle of the storm. They've always told us if it looks like it's going to be bad enough, they'd get us out at the last minute. So I've never really believed that. We've always had our own kind of where we're going to hole up plan during the middle of a storm if we had to. So
yeah, they the thing that's unique about where Ken lives, and we lived down there for quite a while too, is the road will wash out. Like it's not a
Absolutely.
matter of if, it's really a matter of when, how long it'll be out. So like Isabel and Emily and Irene, all those knocked the road out for, I mean, a couple months sometimes. So
Yeah.
it's one of those things. It's a little bit different than I've on the mainland, like Florida and stuff, and went through hurricanes, and you can still go somewhere, but those guys, you got to get a boat to get out. Like,
yeah.
So
what do you guys like do?
Yeah,
like, have you guys resold like during like a natural disaster? Like, I mean, let's say like afterwards, you know, and like things are flooded and whatnot. Like, then what happens? Do you guys like set your store in vacation mode and try and like, clean everything
I
up?
don't know. I've only been doing it since January, so I haven't
Wow.
had that situation yet. But yeah, it's something to think about.
Yeah, me neither. Like not at this point. When I started the end of last September, like we didn't really have any storms nor Easters. We have that stuff. Like I actually filmed one day, I think on the way back from a thrift store, and water was washing across the road, like when I was coming through. So that was one of my earlier videos. Ken's actually got a video though. If you guys subscribe to him, man, he's got a video actually riding around. Right after a storm?
Yeah, right after one. I've got a few post-hurricane videos on my channel.
Yeah, I'm from Cape Cod. Usually, like, it hits you guys, hits Jersey, and then it, like, blows out to sea before it even gets up to us.
Yeah. Yeah. Or rides right up the coast. But, yeah, usually by the time it would get that far, yeah, it might bounce off Jersey.
Yeah.
And then bounce away from you guys.
So
Kelly said that she's been through 3 storms and Harvey, and says usually eBay and other platforms understand that while you're going to be shipping late, but she put her store on vacation when she went through it. So that's good info, Kelly. We hope to not see them, but it's pretty inevitable when you live here.
Yeah. I mean, I even had to, like, during the protests, like being here by Chicago, like things were getting wild. And on Macari, they were letting people know, like, oh, shipping might be slow because of, you know, where they're at. I just preemptively just let people know, like, hey, we got some problems here in Chicagoland. So, you know, it might be a little delayed. Sorry. Just, I mean, it's worked out fine. Nobody's really complained. So.
Right. Yeah, I've had a few messages from people wanting to know where their package was. And that was the same thing. You track it, and it was stuck somewhere in the middle of Minneapolis or something, you know. And I just try to explain to them, hey, look, it's nothing I can control. You know, you got the same tracking number I do. You can see where it's at. So,
yeah. Harry asked Kat, would she go to a estate sale in a hurricane? Oh man, Kat's always gotten those big scores, man, all the time. Of course, I see she's been unloading some stuff recently, doing some kind of a little bit of resell the love herself. Let's see. Here you go, guys.
Giving her away. Yeah. She's just trying to get stuff off her front yard and make room for more stuff on her front yard.
That's it. Colton and Courtney dropping in. Good to see you.
Hey, Colton.
Kelly's follow-up was there we go. Message any buyer, let them know the situation, ask them if they're willing to cancel or wait. So that's good.
Yeah, that's good info.
Yeah, thank you. It is
like fireworks tomorrow, huh? You guys allowed to set off fireworks by you?
Nope.
We aren't. They set it up. Usually there's about 4 fireworks shows on the beach.
Yeah, pretty much that.
They're doing. Yeah. I know Avon, Manio, Kettleville Hills. I think they do something up like in Corollaway. Yeah. So everybody's doing that. Hey, Colton, I was going to tell you, Ken's the one that turned me on to your channel, Redneck Resale.
That's right.
Less
than 100 subs when I started watching Colton.
Colton said he's blowing up all kinds of stuff. Alabama fireworks are legal.
It depends. It depends. When I lived in Tuscaloosa, you couldn't, but you could go to like the next town over, Northport, and go buy all sorts of ridiculous fireworks, and then come back across the river and just set them off. So it just depended.
Yeah, I mean, fireworks are legal here in North Carolina, but our county has a county ordinance against them.
Mm-hmm.
So, and especially down here on the island, a lot of the property down here, well, all the beach anyway, all the beach down here is National Park Service, and the Park Service will not let you have fireworks inside the national park. They'll crack down on that hard on the beach. But our whole stretch of island, we're like 60-mile long island. Our whole stretch of island is all volunteer fire departments, so they don't want to have to be sending the volunteers out trying to get fires put out all night long with 4th of July.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, Kat says she's at 700 on the bids right now. She's probably on high bid or something, doing auctions. Kelly's in there too. Colton said that's awesome, man. Good to put a face to the name. So yeah, where we lived, people set off fireworks anyway. Like, I mean, you see it all the time. Actually, they've been popping them by my house sometimes about 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. You're like, take a shotgun and got let off right there beside us. But
it's illegal in Massachusetts, so we would like sneak into New Hampshire and like get a trunk load and then come back. And then, being on Cape Cod, we like sneak onto like cranberry bogs. That was like our farm. Like in the middle of nowhere, and just like set off fireworks in people's like cranberry bogs. So if you ever come across some ocean spray that's like tastes like gunpowder and sulfur, like that's probably why.
I got you.
Yeah, people here on the beachfront shoot them a lot, like out on into the ocean. But,
oh yeah, you can see them every night.
Yeah, the summertime, people come from all over the place. So it's one of those things. So Ken, if you wouldn't mind, I mean, I obviously know a little bit more than the rest of them, but how you were telling me the other day about some of your side hustle with the beekeeping. You've touched on it a bit, but I know going to extract bees and setting all that stuff up is something that not a lot of people know about.
Yeah, one thing about bees is they're very opportunistic, and they'll set a hive up wherever they can find a spot to set a hive up. So they'll sometimes get in walls of houses. They'll get underneath houses up in people's underpinning. And some people are cool with that. I've actually met some people, talk to them about their bees in their house, and they're like, no, we're just going to leave them there. But most people want their bees out of their house. So there's a bee club here on the Outer Banks, and we just have a list of people that are willing to go take bees either out of your house, or if there's a swarm like hanging on a tree branch or something, we just maintain a list. And unfortunately, it seems like, for me anyway, everybody else on the list this summer has not been able to do it. So I've been getting every single call. So
nice.
So yeah, if I got to go pull a beehive out of somebody's house, I'll charge them for it, because I bring a lot of equipment and I bring expertise to that situation that not many people have. So I got to make it worth my time. Especially like the one the other day, I got up and drove an hour and 50 minutes all the way up into the very north end of Duck to get a beehive out of somebody's rental house underneath. So it's not, I'm not going to make a living out of it, but definitely, like Eric said, it is a side hustle. I mean, that was, it was about an hour and 50 minutes driving each way, and I maybe spent an hour and 15 minutes. It was a small hive, real easy to get to, and that was a $200 removal. So, and the one I stopped and looked at yesterday in the ambulance, I told the people the same thing. It's $50 an hour is what I charge, and for me to drive up to Nag's Head, I charge a $200 minimum. If I'm doing one here local on the island, I'll just do it for $50 an hour. But
that's awesome. After how many hours of reading?
Yeah, it's a side hustle. A lot of reading, and that actually you don't read a lot about doing that kind of stuff. You read a lot about doing like beginning beekeeper kind of stuff, but you kind of learn how to take them out of houses and stuff by just going and doing it. So, but like a little bit of construction knowledge helps, because most of the
Okay.
time people want you to put their house back together. But
It's probably
typically
a
I
good thing.
won't. I just tell them, look, yeah. I mean, unless it's just something, I just remove something really small. Usually I tell people, no, it's going to be your responsibility to put your house back together, because now I've got a box full of bees, mad bees, that I got to get down the road somewhere and get them put away where they're going to live. So.
What the heck?
So yeah, so not only did I have to drive an hour and 50 minutes, but then I had to drive an hour and 50 minutes home with a 5-gallon bucket full of mad bees in the back of the car. So
is that what you do? Is you just take the hive, shove it into a bucket? You smoke them? No? Do you?
no, not when we're removing them. We don't. We actually have, they're in a 5-gallon bucket because we have a specialized bee vacuum that we buy, and it's built around a 5-gallon bucket. So it pulls the air through the 5-gallon bucket, and then we just have like a shop vac attachment up on the top. And there's some chicken wire coiled up kind of inside to give them a place to kind of land on when they get sucked up. You turn the suction down real low, so you're just barely pulling them off of the comb.
Okay.
But I just get in there with a vacuum and start vacuuming them off of the comb, and then I just reach up in there barehanded, grab a hold of the comb, and just cut it loose from whatever it's attached to, and pull it down out of the house. And then I put it up on frames and put it in a regular beehive box and haul that home. And then once I get them home, then you got to deal with taking the top off the 5-gallon bucket, and you just literally take the top off and just dump the bees out of the bucket into the new box, put a top on them, and walk away, leave them alone, let them settle down. So, but I smoke them when I'm working with them. You know, when I go into their hive. Because can you imagine for yourself, you're just sitting at home in your living room and some guy walks up and pulls a roof off of your house. You're not going to be very happy about it. So we smoke them. We smoke them in that situation. It kind of calms them down a little bit for various different reasons. And there's lots of different opinions about it. But it confuses them. Bees work a lot by a sense of smell.
Right.
So the smoke confuses them because they can't get their alert pheromones out over the smell of the smoke. So the whole hive doesn't freak out and all get mad at the same time. But one of the things that happens is when you smoke them, instinctually they think there's a forest fire. And they'll, just like you, if your house was on fire, you're going to probably want to grab the thing that's most valuable to you before you run out of the house. And that's what bees do. So if they think there's a fire and they're going to have to leave, they want to take what's valuable with them. So they go and gorge themselves on honey, because they can actually eat the honey and store it in a special honey stomach that a bee has. And then when they would get to where they're going to make a new hive, they can actually regurgitate that honey back into the comb. So they go and gorge themselves on honey if you smoke them. So then if you smoke them and vacuum them, instead of just landing in the bucket like they should, they have a habit of splatting against the bucket when they're full of honey. They don't bounce as well when they're all full of honey. So we try not to smoke them if we're going to vacuum them. So
wow,
bounces.
It's like bee guts and honey. All right, that's good to know.
Yeah,
we had a couple of people.
It's not pretty.
Pop in. I want to recognize Nikki T, Yvette, Rev dropping in, and Denise. Good to have you guys. Thanks for coming in. You came in with a time of bees not bouncing rather than splatting, but thank you for coming in.
Not
honey
bouncing,
stuffed,
but splatting.
Honey stuffed bees.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
Stomach.
The bee colony collapsed too.
Tracy,
you know what? There's a lot of different opinions. Yeah, a lot of different opinions on that. And I certainly lean towards being way too many chemicals used.
Sure.
Either in the agricultural field, which we're really lucky here. We don't have any agriculture anywhere close to us, and I go by what is most people consider like a natural beekeeping method. I don't use any chemicals in my hive. I don't treat for anything. I go by the thought that if they can't help themselves, I don't want to prop them up. If I got to constantly be propping them up, then I don't want those genetics in my bee yard. And that's what most commercial beekeepers do. Most commercial beekeepers, it's crazy the amount of chemicals that they dump in a beehive. Insecticides, actually, miticides, they put Gosh, they put all kinds of stuff in there. You know, bees get infections, so they treat that. But I don't treat any of that stuff. So I keep it all completely natural. But I think a combination of all of that stuff plus the chemicals that farmers use have really led to that bee colony collapse. And it's not actually as bad as it used to be. You know, that whole colony collapse disorder is kind of old news. It's not happening near as much as it used to. Bee numbers are actually on the rise, but you won't see a lot of that in most of the media. But they are on the rise. So.
Yeah. Do you know who Paul
Yeah,
Stamets
liquid
is?
sucrose. Yeah. I don't think I've ever heard that name.
So he's a mycologist. He cultivates and grows mushrooms. Like, he's based out of Washington State. He works with like the Department of Defense and I think the Department of Agriculture, and trying to figure out ways to like use fungi to kind of cure some of the genetic mutations in bees, like where their wings shrink.
Right.
So then they lose flight and they die. So for some, I guess somehow they're able to like train this particular fungus to like symbiotically like merge with the bee and then help it fully form its wing and ward off whatever. Crazy.
Right. Yeah, there's a situation called deformed wing virus. That most likely is started by there's a mite that gets in honeybee colonies called Varroa mite. It was introduced here from Europe, I guess, back in the 70s or 80s. I guess it came across on some bees that some people imported to work with. We didn't have it here in this country initially. But those mites are terrible on bees. They're like ticks. If you can think of a tick on you, that's what a mite is on a bee. They get on the bee and suck their. They don't necessarily always suck their blood. They get some other parts of the bee, but they pass a lot of disease from bee to bee. And there is a thing called deformed wing virus. And you'll see bees with just wings that just are all mangled. And yeah, obviously they can't fly like that. But it's interesting because inside a honeybee colony, there's all kinds. A honeybee colony is an entire ecosystem in its own. And there's already funguses growing in there. There's bacteria that bees actually let stay in their hive. There's beneficial bacteria that they work with, beneficial fungus in there. So yeah, it's its own ecosystem all wrapped up in one. So Manuka honey versus other honey. Yeah, Manuka honey comes out of New Zealand, and it's honey that is only the bees only work those Manuka plants. It's up in the upper elevations, I think, of New Zealand, and those plants have a lot of medicinal value, and the bees pick all of that up in the nectar that they get off of those flowers. So Manuka honey by itself has a lot of medicinal properties. It's what am I trying to think of? Antibiotic. Honey has antibiotic properties. It has antiviral properties. It has a lot of healing properties. They use honey in burn centers to put right on open burns, and that's how they help burns heal.
I used it in wound care when I practiced.
Has even more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's great for wound care. It's crazy how effective it is on wound care. And Manuka honey has even more medicinal properties than just plain regular honey does. So, but you pay a lot of money for it, and there's all kinds of different things going on. There's a rating system for it, so you'll pay by the rating system. The higher the number, the higher the active compounds in that Manuka honey are. So.
It looks like
you get me started up talking about bees and honey. We can be here all night.
Hey man, if that's what gets you fired up, let's talk about it, man. Because I mean, look, I'm all about.
I love it.
I'm all about like picking up a hobby, right? Because like to me, that's what YouTube is, and reselling is. And for my wife, it's like sewing and shrimping, and like for us, that's our 9-to-5 started from just a hobby, right? And how to convert that hobby into a stream of income, for yourself.
Right.
I don't have to worry about like, I don't know, freelancing for another company or whatnot. Like even just, what you do with your 9-to-5, right? I'm sure it's nice to have renewable, a renewable
Right.
resource.
Right. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of one of the things I started looking at YouTube, or I mean eBay about. I've been in this thing for 23 years. I could probably retire in a couple of years. It'll be less than a full retirement, but that's what I picked up eBay for, was to kind of look at supplementing that retirement income possibly in a couple of years, and kind of seeing what kind of living I could make off of that. And bees are kind of that same thing. I'm not going to make a ton of money off bees down here, just because the area that we live in, we don't have a lot of stuff for them to forage on. So I don't make honey out of my hives like people in a lot of other areas do. And actually, the honey I sold last year was really the first time I'd ever sold honey. And gosh, I've been keeping bees 7 years, so it took me 6 years to ever even sell my first jar of honey. But so yeah, I mean, all of those things, I mean, dude, mushrooms interest me. That's one of the things that I want to kind of start to learn how to do. I've always thought about buying one of those little blocks and just growing some shiitakes or something on the kitchen counter.
Dude, those are two guys. The Back to Roots, they're two guys that they're the fastest growing Fortune 500 company in the nation. And it's just two dudes who figured out how to get Starbucks to pay them to take away their used coffee grounds, recycle it, and then inoculate it, and then sell it back to you, in a $20 kit that you can get a couple of flushes out of, which is nice, So, but I mean, if you can find like a nice oak or maple log, you can actually get plugs, mushroom plugs. Like if you want to grow shiitake, dude, and then do it, inoculate the tree stump, get yourself some like beeswax and seal it, and it'll cure over.
Yeah, I actually have a little bit of that sitting around.
Oh, perfect. So if you just go buy plugs and stuff like that, I don't have any inoculated right now, or otherwise I'd send you some. But they're just like little wooden dowels that like we've sterilized and inoculated with a culture. And once you get that inoculated and you seal it off from like any contaminants, that log will grow for the next 10 years. Yeah. And you just got to spray it with water, which is awesome.
It's crazy. Hey, we had a couple of you pop in. Joey Bada Bing, good to see you. Andy So Meta, just clearing up the Walmart rounds is what he was saying. So thanks for popping in. Guys, if you popped in and said, hey, what's going on? Ken and Sam obviously have outside interests other than just eBay. And we've been talking about bees, about homesteading, growing mushrooms. All of these things are things that are a part of reselling. You may not never see the listing on eBay like you're thinking, or it's not, but I'm sure there's some out there on all those things. You can get it in bulk.
I mean, I know cats who like people up in the upper New England area. They'll go and find like old hemlock, and they'll find pieces of mushroom called chaga, and they'll sell it wild.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that
and all that stuff. So I mean, it's like this is nature. Like talk about buying low and selling high. That's like as low as you can get, free from nature. You're spending time sourcing, looking anyways. And basically, if you live by an area with trees, there's probably a good chance that you'll find some, medicinal mushrooms that that you can sell on eBay and stuff and make pretty good money. Or like I've seen people, they'll do both. They'll sell it on eBay and create an Instagram page where they can just buy directly off of Instagram and just skip all the fees. So
yeah, I know with Ken, like in the honey, he said, post it online. Literally, if he drops it on Facebook, it's gone, like instantly, pretty much. Like
people ask me 12 months out of the year. That's one thing about beekeepers. Everybody thinks that beekeepers always have a lot of honey sitting around. So 12 months out of the year, I get questions asking about if I got any honey for sale. So
yeah, they I mean, the other thing that I know Ken does a lot of, I know Tracy's in here. She started the cooking channel. Ken does all kinds of making a lot of stuff. He does all kinds of, you'll call him up at random times. He'll be like, yeah, man, I'm working on jarring this, or I've made this. I know he makes bread like a champ because I've tasted some of that first one, and jams and
rolls.
Yeah. Even try his hand at kombucha if you're into that.
Right there. That's what I'm drinking right now. Homemade kombucha.
Dude, and we did kefir for a while. Dude, we sold we were selling kefir cultures for a while. And it's like crazy because like you just kept growing it and we just had so much excess. Yeah. Gosh, we were looking at some of those like kombucha discs to do. So we're just
let me know if you ever want to start kombucha. I have got a half-gallon cannon jar full of little baby scobies ready to go.
Really? Okay.
So oh yeah, yeah.
I mean, it was
anybody that
go ahead.
Anybody that makes their own kombucha, everybody's always got a whole jar of them things sitting around. Yeah, it's you can accidentally kill your SCOBY and then you're out of business, unless you can get another one. So I always have a whole bunch of them sitting around.
Yeah,
and it's super easy. There's some really cool books out there. There's some really cool YouTube channels on how to do it. But dude, all you're doing is making sweet tea and sticking one of those scobies in it and letting it sit. That's all you do. Yeah. So it gets a little more complicated when you want to flavor it. And if you buy kombucha at the store, it's really carbonated. And some of that's actually carbonation that's been added. But a lot of it's natural carbonation. So it goes through two processes. You do the initial ferment. This time of the year when the house is warmer in the summertime, I can make a batch in 10 days is all it takes to ferment.
Wow.
And then you put it in like growlers or a little 16-ounce like the Grolsch beer bottles, that sort of thing with the resealable tops. And you let it set out on your counter for like 3 days with whatever flavor you want to put in it, and it makes its own carbonation because it goes through a second ferment process and makes carbonation in that ferment process. So,
and that stuff is like
easy, and
yeah.
Oh, it's crazy. It's $3.50 a 16-ounce bottle if you go buy it at the store. I can make 2 gallons of it for less than $3.50.
Dude, I had some friends up in upstate New York, and they got it on tap that people just come up with their, you can buy a growler from them and then just keep refilling, and they have, it's easy for them, it's just one of their side hustles that they run out of their house. It's crazy.
Yeah, I'd love to be able to do it here. North Carolina is a little strict on like that cottage food industry rules.
Sure.
So anything you're producing, you don't necessarily have to have a commercial kitchen, but some of the rules. Well, I'm immediately disqualified because I have a dog in the house, so they won't let you sell anything you make in a house with a dog in it. So, but some of their rules are strict, some of them aren't. Honey's more of a federal thing than a state thing. So honey, the rules are in one way they're kind of lax because anybody can make honey and sell it, but they're kind of strict on like their labeling requirements and stuff like that. But yeah, all I did was throw it in half-pint canning jars and slap a label on it with the required information and send it out the door. So of course there's a lot more to that to get it to that point, but it's that easy to sell it anyway.
Right. What was it?
Oh yeah, by the way, thanks Colton for subbing.
Yeah, guys, if you aren't subbed and you're interested in this kind of stuff, man, Ken is the guy for sure. He knows about all kinds of stuff like that I don't have a clue about. Sometimes I just sit and listen like, man, wow. Like, how do you know about that? He asked me about reselling questions. I asked him about like nature and stuff.
Yep.
He was telling me how to grow my squash the other day. Like, how to get my squash more fertile. So.
I hear noises coming in the house. I think the grandkids are coming in.
And they killed it.
Shh.
Might have some guest star appearance going on.
Oh, I just saw somebody through the back. So
there you go. Yeah, you have some guests rolling through. Kim was telling me when he was when he first started doing the reselling, he'd have all this stuff, and the grandkids would be like, "Hey, Can I play with this? Like, what are you doing with this?
Yeah, I'd have stuff setting out, and they'd always come in. They'd come in the house, and they'd ask my wife, "Hey, Mimi, why does Papa have that train set? Mimi, why does Papa have those dolls?" It's kind of hard to tell them no, they can't play with it, but
Ken's channel is in the description of this chat, I believe. But if somebody has it,
I've seen it. Somebody shared it up there a few times.
Yeah, I think Jennifer
in the comments. I
in
think
here.
Colton's had it up there just a little while ago.
There you go.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, thanks for subbing, Yvette. I appreciate it. There you go. Sam just put it up.
Yeah. I mean, like, especially now, right? Like, with all the stuff that's like you hear on the news, you know, regardless of how you feel about it, it's like kind of scary to think about food shortages and having to compete for your food or going around a bunch of people. So if you have the ability to, you know, provide for yourself and grow a little bit, like, why not?
Yeah, we've seen that, you know, this year especially. There's been a big resurgence in people wanting to learn how to grow food.
Sure.
I see pictures all the time on Facebook now of people, you know, with their 1 or 2 tomatoes they've harvested, and it's, you know, some people, they've never grown anything in their life.
Yeah.
But because of this situation, you know, they've started reaching out and asking for help and trying to figure out how to do those things. So it's always good to be able to produce your own food and not be reliant on the industrial food system. So
yeah,
and you're going to get me started on that too. So
I mean, my parents grew. I mean, my parents are Chinese farmers, you know. So like, I mean, when they immigrated here, growing up, like, I mean, first off, they didn't really have that much money for food, you know. So that was one of the ways around it, was kind of growing your own. And you know, I mean, I remember as a sister, with my sister, like, you know, pulling stuff up right off like the vine and stuff and eating it. Like, it's great. And we had Italian neighbors that had their own garden too. Yeah.
Yep. That's what I was going to say. You see that a lot in ethnic neighborhoods, and you go in those ethnic neighborhoods, and everybody's got a garden in those ethnic neighborhoods. And some of them, you know, they're doing them together. They've got a great big community garden. And a lot of times it's because they can't find the kind of things they had at home. So the only way for them to get the stuff they want is to grow it themselves. But a lot of it's the same thing. You know, a lot of people have come from a poor background, and that's how they had food. You know, that's how they had food growing up. Their grandparents grew it or their parents grew it. So, yeah, it is, you know, even if all you're going to do is throw a tomato plant in a 5-gallon bucket on the balcony of your apartment, you know, even that's better than nothing. So I always encourage people, if there's any way you can grow something on your own, grow it. You'll be surprised how much better it tastes, and obviously how much better it is for you. Because the stuff you buy in a grocery store, most of it's not food anymore. The way the modern agricultural system works is terrible. So,
Louis, thanks for coming in, buddy. Been in the UK,
making his rounds.
Yeah, we're talking about different types of reselling in here today, guys. Like, man, some stuff that you can do at home. You won't find it in the thrift store or at a yard sale, not typically. However, I went to a yard sale the other day, and they were trying to give away plants when I went there.
Yeah, there you go.
They're like, hey, do you want a tomato plant? I was like, I would take a tomato plant, but I've got about 6 on my porch, and they're producing like crazy.
What was it? So, well, all right. So I guess with reselling, I heard what's his face, Dom, the art professor or whatever his name is, talk about selling seeds and stuff like that on eBay.
I feel like auction professor.
Yeah, auction professor. That's what his name is. Yeah, yeah. I feel like that's not okay. I don't know why I feel like that's not okay with seeds, but yeah. I don't know if you have any feedback.
I mean, it is. Yeah, no, I actually called him out on a comment under that video, because that's what, you know, he's like, oh man, you can just go to the store and buy one tomato, and then you can sell like 500 seeds from the one tomato. And there really isn't that much wrong with that. I mean, there's people that have made their living for generations selling seeds. And there's a lot of people that are doing it, you know, very responsibly and very reliably out there. But most and I've seen some other videos like that too, where you can just go to the grocery store and buy this thing and sell seeds from it. But most of the problems with that is most fruit and vegetables that you're going to buy in a grocery store right now are a hybrid, and you can't use the seed from a hybrid. I mean, you can, but it's not going to grow what you think it is. So if you go to the store and buy a cucumber and it's a hybrid cucumber, you take the seeds out of it and dry those seeds and sell them to somebody, they're not going to grow the cucumber that they think they're growing. It's going to be a cross of whatever parents that they use to make that hybrid. So yeah, it doesn't work quite like that. So the only way you can do that is if you're buying or if you're growing your own open pollinated or heirloom vegetables. Those seeds will be true to the plant that they come from. But yeah, most of the food in the grocery store is a hybrid, so it's not going to work. You can sell the seeds, but you're going to have a lot of people really upset the next season when they start trying to harvest the stuff coming up.
Yeah.
So, and some things are going to be GMOs.
Yeah.
Like if you went to the store and bought a bag of soybeans, every soybean you buy right now is going to be a GMO soybean. And if you try that, there's patents on GMOs. There's farmers that have lost their family farms that have been in families for generations, and they've lost their farms because of GMO seeds, either trying to save them themselves or anything else. So Monsanto is not very happy when you try to sell what they've spent millions of dollars making. So they will come after you. I mean, they're probably not going to come after an individual like that, but they've shut farmers down all over this country because trying to save. And some of them weren't even going to sell those seeds. They were saving them for themselves to plant again next year, because that's what farmers have done for generations. They've saved some of the crop that they've raised, and they'll plant it next year. But Monsanto wants to get their money every year from you buying their seed directly from them. And it's the same thing. If you try to store that seed, they'll come after you. There's all kinds of lawsuits all over the country right now where big agriculture is suing farmers.
Yeah. It's wild.
Yeah, when Ken talked to me about that, I was like, dude, I had no idea. Because I messaged him after I saw that, and I was like, man, that's something that might be a good idea, because I know he grows stuff all the time. But he's like, he said, there's some things you got to be careful with. Like the average person, it goes to show, I mean, guys, obviously we try to give you the best information we can, but I try to be a little bit more guarded about what information you share. And what you glean from YouTube. Like, you need to cross-check everything, because you could get yourself in some trouble. Like, that's for sure. So that's why I reached out to them for sure.
Yeah.
You got a bunch of stuff then later. Yeah.
It's wild event. Louis talking about not eating too much soybeans.
That's what's gotten some farmers in trouble. Oh yeah, we don't try to eat any soybeans around here.
It's weird though. It's like it's only around here, man. Like, cause only lately, like I would say, the last 5 years, you've been hearing soybeans being linked to an increased incidence in breast cancer. But then, if you go over to Asia, they're using soybean protein isolates to try and fight ovarian cancer. Ovarian cancer is hard to fight. You get it once, you're probably guaranteed to get it again. It's you're buying time with treatment on it. But over in Asia, they figured out how to take something from a soybean protein, one little minuscule part, and say that is the magic bullet to killing ovarian cancer, which is nuts. So I gotta say, I'm sure us messing with it messes with all the medicinal property.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I think I'm one of those people that firmly believes that every medicine that we could possibly need, we can find in nature. It's just a matter of finding it, knowing what to look for. I think all the synthetic medicine we have, and even a lot of the medicine we do have, has come from natural sources.
Sure.
But I think anything we could ever need to be treated for, we can find in nature. And the way they keep messing up with a lot of the plants that are out there, they're taking a lot of that out of there. So,
Sean, thanks for dropping in. We are digging in on this thing with natural reselling, both large and small. So,
I mean, I think sometimes
organic all the way. Yep, there you go.
What we ask Ken to be on, because sometimes I feel like us as resellers, and me and Eric especially, being involved in the community, we kind of get stuck in our ways, like our little bubble of going to the thrift store, going to yard sales, going to garage sales, going to pallets, going to liquidation. It's like, okay, but there are other people out there reselling things that you may not have considered reselling, things from your backyard. Shrimp people will buy dried almond leaves. If you have an almond tree, to harvest the leaves, dry them, they'll buy 5 leaves for $20. Easy $20 for dead dried leaves that you would never believe that people would buy, and I mean, we stopped doing this, but I get dry barley, I bag it up and I resell it. Like a 50-pound bag of barley is $8 for me. A little pouch that I rebag, $15. So like almost like 3,000x that bag of barley. So and being in the grain belt, it works out great for me sourcing wise. Whereas like that same bag of barley might be worth a little bit more someplace else. So I think just being able to see the different opportunities out there. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, you see even things like that. After watching that thing with Auction Professor, and then talking with Ken more. I mean, I haven't dove into it, but there's definitely huge potential out there. I mean, you think of all the people that grow microgreens and things like that are reselling that. I know from talking to Sam on the back side of all this, some of you guys know, some of you don't know. Most of what they do at home is they grow mushrooms and sell them. I mean, that's more of a full-time job than Macari, even though a lot of people in the community know Sam as the Macari guy, but he's definitely got his feet in both places. And one of the things with Ken, I mean, bringing him on, he has so much else going on. He's kind of like me. When you live on the Outer Banks, man, you got to have a hustle, outside of your normal life, outside of your normal job. So why not doing something you enjoy, like what he enjoys, beekeeping and doing those kind of things. I enjoy what I'm doing now with eBay, but I do all kinds of other stuff as well that I don't enjoy as much. But that's part of it, man. When it becomes a job, you might as well go punch a clock. So, Laura, thanks for dropping in. Good to have you in.
Driftless Thrifter was out planting 500 almond trees.
That's right.
There you go. All right, we'll be over later to thrift some leaves.
Hey, here's an interesting fact about almond trees.
Dude, if
you want almonds out of your almond trees, you're going to have to get somebody to bring honeybees.
Oh, really?
No, go ahead, Sam.
No. What you were saying?
Yeah.
What do you? Yeah, why is that? To pollinate it?
Yeah. Almonds. The state of California produces I don't know, 80% of the almond crop for the entire world. And every single one of those almonds is pollinated by a honeybee. So because there's no natural pollinators left anywhere around there. So bee guys from all over the country start trucking their bees in by the tractor trailer load to California. Yeah, tractor trailer loads of them going to California, all from they're usually coming from south, like Georgia, Alabama, Florida. Those guys load them up on the trucks and send them out there, and they stay out there for however many weeks it takes for the almonds to get pollinated. Then they put them back on a truck and send them someplace else. So, but yeah, without honeybees, you wouldn't have any almonds. There'd be no almonds anywhere in the world without honeybees.
It's crazy.
So if you like almonds, think a honeybee.
Dude, a fresh almond from a tree is amazing. Have you ever had one?
No, I've never had one.
Dude, like, I had it once in like Jamaica, it's fallen from. So talk about hustling. I watched this one Jamaican, we're going to the beach. He's like picking stuff up off the ground. It looked like a peach pit. He's just chucking it in a bag. I'm like, what are you doing? It's like, come on, we're picking almonds. I was like, what? And it's like, look, and he takes a rock and he starts crushing it up, and like out there was an almond, man. And it was so different from like, I don't know, anything I've ever eaten out of a bag here in the United States. It was delicious.
Yeah, when I get
it, cool.
Yeah, they do that with cashews. Like cashews they have over there fresh, and it's like, dude, they taste completely different than anything that I've had here. But it don't look like. I mean, cashews are weird looking. You need to Google an image on that thing. You'll be like, what? That's a cashew.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, you may not eat a cashew after you see what it really looks like.
Yeah.
So, and the funny part about that whole cashew fruit is the little nut itself is the only part you can eat. The rest of it's poisonous.
Right.
Yep.
So,
Joe dropped in. Good to see you. There's one of those things. Yeah, some of that stuff's wild. I see that stuff in India, like with the whole agriculture thing. I mean, I wish without getting in massive trouble, you could bring some of that stuff back, because like saffron over there is dirt cheap. And go in the grocery store and see what an ounce of saffron sells for in there. I was like, these guys are looking at it like, what is that? Why is it so expensive? I was like, because we don't grow it here. We don't have it. We got to bring it in and pay everybody along the way to get it here. So one of them things. Ken actually has been doing YouTube for quite a while too, on the reseller thing. He hasn't done a whole lot with that, but on the homesteading, there's all kinds of stuff that he has. He actually is tied in with some pretty big guys in the homesteading community and gets to see some of the behind the scenes stuff with some of that. So he helped me early on with YouTube. He was letting me know about certain things. So
yeah, like I said, I think 2012 is when I started my channel. I think I looked yesterday and I'm up to like 1,860 subs or something, but I don't push subs very hard. So if people want to sub, that's great. And actually I've been kind of slack, I've been really slack on the whole YouTube thing lately. I haven't put a YouTube video out since the hurricane last year. So, but I need to get busy. I got somewhere over 300 videos on my channel right now.
At first,
go ahead.
I was going to tell you, I've just got a little story that I kind of want to tell. Ken probably knows where I'm going. But, so Ken put out YouTube on the sneak, right? Like nobody knew about it. And it's funny because me and Sam were talking about the same thing today. Because, I mean, maybe you guys can answer this in the chat. When you first started doing YouTube, did you tell your friends and family? Did you put it on your personal social media? Or did you do it on the sneak? I did it on the sneak. Like nobody knew like that I was going on YouTube except for me and my immediate family. Ken did the same thing, but YouTube leaked. His wife mentioned something at a church outing that we were at together. And it just so happened the next week I actually had the flu and was home for a couple of days. And I literally made it my mission to try to find Ken's YouTube channel. And when I did finally find it, I was watching the videos and I was like, man, that sounds like Ken's voice, but I don't see him. So if you ever watched Home Improvement back in the day where the neighbor, you never see his face, that's how his YouTube was when he first started. It was just him working in the garden. All you saw his hands. So I know for a lot of us, that's how we started. So I sent him a text, or I may have called him, and I was like, Island Homesteader here, because that's the way he started his channel every time. And he's like, oh, you found me on the sneak. So I know a lot of us, we kind of crept in like that. So it's funny to see the progression. I will say when I finally shared mine with my Facebook social media thing, I had a ton of watches on my next two videos they kind of tanked my view time because not everybody's interested in reselling. But that's one of those things.
Yeah, there's some local people now that know about my YouTube, so it's not quite as secret as it used to be.
Yeah, Sean is just getting going on YouTube. He's changed his thing, bargain resale. So man, if you guys don't know Sean and aren't subscribed to him, you can go show him a little love. And you know how it is when you're first getting started, guys. I look at my first videos, I'm like, what was I thinking? Like, why would I do that? But
it's all good, Sean. Don't worry about it, man. We're just gonna keep putting the pressure on you. It's all right.
Putting that first one out was the hardest one you'll do.
It is, man.
Yeah, it's just like that. Denise said that she did hers on the sneak. That's how we are. It's weird. I mean, I don't even really know what that's all about. I guess, I know for us, if you talk about YouTube content, I mean, maybe I'm the only one. I'm certain I'm not. Aren't we our harshest critics? Like, we're the ones that we're looking at stuff that's like, who in the world would watch this? And then you get people that do like it. Maybe they're just being kind and saying, hey, that was a great video. But who knows, man? There are people that I've had respond to some of my videos that I was like, man, that video I thought was kind of terrible, but they thought it was okay. So one of those things.
No, I'm my own best friend.
I think that's a lot of why I did it the way I did it.
Yeah.
Hey, we all got to have a best friend, right?
No. Oh my gosh. Eric will tell you, I beat myself up over a video sometimes. It's crazy.
I'm always telling him like some of his last videos have been phenomenal. And he's like, man, I don't know. I was like, I wish that was my man. I don't know. Like, that thing's good.
That's awesome.
Yeah, when I started, YouTube, the whole like vlogging thing that's so big right now, that wasn't a thing in 2012. So I felt kind of stupid walking around my yard, talking to my cell phone with the neighbors watching. So that's why I kind of kept it on the down low, because I didn't want people really to know what I was doing. So yeah. It wasn't like it is now back then. So in a lot of different ways, YouTube's a lot harder now than it was back then too. But it's socially acceptable now to walk around and talk to yourself into your cell phone. So
I'm still awkward. I'll go I'll be in my car like, what's up, YouTube? Blah 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 blah. And they'll go to a thrift store. I'm like, okay, I found a pair of shoes. Like when Christina's like, why are you whispering? I'm like, I don't know.
I like Eric said, I know a couple of guys that are pretty big YouTubers in the homesteading community, and one of those guys lives out in Asheville, North Carolina, Justin Rhodes, and he's probably over 700,000 subs right now. But
wow,
he puts a video out almost every single day. I don't think they put a video out on Sunday, but almost every day. And I've been in different situations with him, and he's carrying a great big Canon 8D camera around on one of those Joby Gorilla Pods with a Rode mic up on the top, and he doesn't think one thing about carrying that thing into a Walmart. He was down here visiting a couple of years ago, and we went to Lowe's, and he carried that thing right in Lowe's and recording his family trying to pick up stuff out of Lowe's. And we went to the Wright Brothers Monument, and he's setting shots up. He's putting that camera down, and we're all walking past it. Then he runs back and looks at it and like, no, we got to do that again. I felt so stupid out there in public doing that, but they didn't even think anything about it. And his kids, his oldest one's only 11 right now. And they were all like, Daddy, I don't think that shot was going to work. So, the kids have grown up in that, so they know how it works. Where I felt silly, but to them, it's their normal life.
Oh, so, man. That would be the day when my kids
some people
producer
are a lot more natural.
Yeah.
No, that's the way his kids are. His oldest son, I've been around him while his oldest son is actually setting a shot up for him, putting the camera down and telling his dad when to walk past the camera. So,
oh my God,
like, dude, you guys are crazy.
Dad. Get your head in the game.
Yeah. You're killing my shot. You're killing my shot.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, it's crazy. I think that's. I mean, it's almost like a pain point, right? Like that we all have to get past. Like if you're gonna produce YouTube and you're gonna get to the level of doing quality or getting, more of a real life thing. Like it is. It's not as real life as everybody thinks it is, but it does require getting comfortable. I still feel a little awkward. Like I just got my GoPro, so even walking to yard sales with a backpack and a GoPro sticking off the front of it, and people are like, "Hey, what are you doing?" Mm-hmm. Denise said, "Your kid's going to be saying, Dad, twirl your mustache for the shot."
Like, Dad, it's not quite right. Oh man.
Yeah, I went to a homesteaders conference in Virginia last year, up in the northern part of Virginia, and there was, I don't know, 700 or 800 people at the conference, and no joke, I'll bet 75% of them were walking around all day with the camera out in front of their face. So
how weird 2020 is.
Yeah, it's a weird situation for sure.
So, yeah, something like how to fit your clothes after a pandemic or preventing face mask shaming. That is true. So true.
Oh, man.
Yeah. I don't know. A lot of us having to go up a size after all that. What do you do? What do you do in the pandemic? Just eat. That's what we do.
That's what the 19 stands for.
Yeah.
In COVID. The pounds.
19 pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, Louis said that his daughter would be saying, "Don't overthink it," while filming.
Yeah, you can't overthink it. Because I mean, like, especially with like YouTube, now like with the vloggers and the different personalities out there, it almost feels like you have to bring this larger than life like personality and like act, like almost perform your personality.
Yeah, I think I think that we'd probably be surprised if we saw how most YouTubers actually live, that it's probably nothing like what we see in their videos for sure. Mm.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we see it like with reality television. I've mentioned this before. Where I live, they film Wicked Tuna, and typically outside of this year with the kind of the pandemic stuff, I've drove Uber here for like the past couple of years in the summertime and the wintertime, some too. And I've drove all those Wicked Tuna guys and the guys that are locally on Wicked Tuna that I know. And like, they tell me just how different things are. Like when you see reality television, that's non-reality television. Because most of what they do is not what they do. And I think YouTube's like that to a degree. There are people that are putting out actually what they're doing. But I think it's crazy because you see the guys that are the bigger guys in YouTube as far as views and stuff. It's not exactly what they're doing. It's a little bit different than what the real is. What's really going on? There's obviously some, like you're saying, setting up a shot. Like, hey, I got to get that. Because I know, like most of us when we're starting, dude, some of my camera work is terrible sometimes. Like I know me and Sam were talking about the other day about you can get seasick if you're not careful. You're like, hey, hold it still. Some of those things.
Yeah, I hadn't filmed with my GoPro for like 4 or 5 weeks because COVID and stuff like that, and really hadn't tried to go out sourcing. And it was almost like I forgot how to use my camera. I only had a few weeks of practice because it's so sensitive and the angle's so wide. So it's just like, I don't know, you feel super seasick and all I'm doing is just like switching hands,
Yeah. We've been talking about that stuff so much. When I go on Facebook now, I get all these ads for gimbals and all that kind of stuff that are popping up.
They're listening.
I was like, what?
Big Brother is listening.
Yeah. Well, if Facebook Marketplace could hear you and you could get a gimbal for on the cheap.
Yeah, hey.
Yeah.
That's right.
You ever think of do you mostly pick up on Facebook Marketplace, or do you sell at all?
I've not sold anything on Facebook Marketplace. Nope.
I've only sold 2 items.
The only thing I've only ever sold on eBay, except, well, the day before I went to work, I think 2 shifts ago, my partner actually texted me that night and said, "Hey, you still got any Xbox One controllers for sale?" Because his kids had broke both of his. So I sold him an Xbox One controller the next day at work. That's the only thing outside of eBay I've ever sold. So
there you go. I like selling on Facebook Marketplace. I'm curious how their shipping would work, though.
I hear horror stories, but it makes you wonder though too about guys that are shipping on. I mean, do they know shipping? Because obviously, us dealing from a reseller world, like we know about pirate ship. We know about how to package things. We know about how to, I mean, if you've sold for any length of time, you start to get a grasp on how to ship. So maybe is their shipping that much different? Like, could you provide your own shipping? I don't really know. I haven't done a ton of research about it.
Well, and then you have to figure out how do you do the transaction, So if you're going to take it off of, off eBay, off of Facebook, then you got to figure out a third party, point of sales, app or something.
Well, Facebook supports that now, don't they? I thought Facebook supported
I think they do. I think they do.
System.
Yeah, I think they do.
You can send money through Facebook now.
Okay.
Yeah, I know, because I know on some of the marketplace, and I've sent that "is this thing still available" message to somebody. There'll be a button to pay seller now or something on marketplace. So
I've never really used it. It's either been Cash, Venmo, or Cash App. I don't even mess with PayPal because of the fees.
Yeah.
On either way, because even if you did families and friends, say you paid me as a family and friend, then I get I get fees taken out just for trying to deposit into my bank account. It's okay, I can just do Venmo or Cash App. Or what was it? Eric does Chime too.
Yeah, Chime is a new. They have where you can set up a bank account, but they also have where you can send money back and forth, and it's kind of crazy too because there's referral money too, just for getting people to Whereas when you look at Cash App and Venmo, obviously you got to get a friend to own that, but Chime's the same thing, but there's a little bit more of an exchange happening there, but it's an actual bank account. So
that's the first time I'm hearing about that one.
Yeah, I'm actually fixing to drop that in a video, but a little preview. Because now, a lot of us are having to sign up for managed payment. So look for that video coming out this weekend. Because that's
yeah. It's awesome. So you're gonna add some reseller videos, Ken, to your channel? Am I gonna see hands just in the thrift store?
No, I show my face now. I actually talk to the camera now. So I've already picked out I've signed up another YouTube channel, so I do have one. I haven't put any videos out, so it took me a little while to come up with a name. So I do have one now. It's just a matter of making my first reseller video and putting it on there. So watch out for what did I call it, Eric? Yeah, That Flippin' Beekeeper, I think, is what I named my channel.
That Flipping Beekeeper. Let's see if we can find here.
Yeah, That Flippin' Beekeeper. I'd have to
Dave
look to make sure, but that's what I think it is.
Hey, Dave popped in the chat. Midwest Picker, good to have you, bro. He said Phantom Hands.
Phantom Hands.
Yeah.
Not even that, because most resellers with a YouTube channel don't have another person filming for them, so it's strapped to them. So it's what is it, Duke Nukem almost? You just see hands,
Yeah. What is it? First person shooter?
Yeah.
Kind of what it is.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's what I should do. I should edit a video to look like I'm part of a first person shooter game. going through a thrift store. Don't steal my idea, Andy. I think Andy's
there
the
you
only one that
go.
can pull it off. Don't steal my idea. Say the flipping beekeeper.
You would use your phone out in front like the gun.
Yeah.
Like you're aiming. Let me hit the scan on this thing. Oh,
Yeah, see, the Lone Star Picker says he's doing Texas barbecue on Saturday. Man, that's another passion of mine. It's barbecue.
Barbecue? All right.
Yeah,
talking
man. So I hope your barbecue turns out good. Hey, dude, if it's Eastern North Carolina, it's got to be vinegar based.
That's like the first time because I went to a place in Raleigh called Chopped, and they did chopped barbecue with. I was like, "What is this?" It was weird because growing up, I'm used to a mustard base.
Right, right.
If Sean's still in the chat, man, he's out that way. He knows about some Eastern barbecue. There's a place that me and Ken both kind of adore a little bit. Is the Skylight Inn. It looks like the Capitol building made out of aluminum, the top of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you get out there, that place has been around for a minute, man. But they all wood smoked barbecue whole hog. Like they do it up. So it's one of those things. But Ken makes a mean barbecue.
That's all that we got in North Carolina. Yeah, I got pretty good at it.
Honestly, with everything going on,
I just did
outside the road and make a fortune right now. Restaurants.
Yeah, last Saturday I just did 2. What did I do? 2 pork shoulders and 4 racks of baby back ribs.
Oh, those Boston butts. All right. I just picked up a couple.
No, pork shoulder, man, not Boston butts. You got to do the whole shoulder, man, not just the butt.
Guys, we got a few more people dropping in. Mike, the January House, thanks for having him in. I was on his auction last week. Be on there again this coming Wednesday if you guys want to drop in on that. And Omar, East Coast Flipper, has hit the YouTube scene. If you haven't seen his videos that he's put out, man, it's good to have him on board. He's been killing Instagram for a while, but now he's crossed on over a little bit to YouTube world. And Rebel Junk, thank you for coming in as well.
Yeah, loving that Carolina barbecue. There you go.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
Also, Patty dropped in. I just saw my chat caught up a little bit.
Yeah, a little skippage there. Let's go.
Yeah. Having a little jump happening right now.
I am having trouble finding the Flippin' Beekeeper YouTube channel. Maybe you can share with Eric later.
No,
it might be
make me look for it now.
Is it with a G or no G?
It may still be. Dude, I'm gonna have to look. I don't know. Right. I set it up one day, like in the middle of the night, just to have a name.
Lone Star has put out some barbecue referrals.
Yes.
Like the Salt Lick.
I think you know what my favorite barbecue sauce is, though? Sorry, I know it's probably getting late and people are getting hungry and stuff, but like in Alabama, they would do white barbecue sauce, and it was basically barbecue sauce mixed with ranch. It's awesome.
Yeah, I've seen it, but I've never tried it.
Yeah.
I actually don't use a lot of sauce. I do. Yeah. I never sauce my ribs. My ribs are always just a dry rub. And the only time I use sauce is when I chop barbecue. I will make a vinegar sauce and mix it in with the chopped barbecue. The chopped pork. But
we're going to Ken's house for some kombucha and some honey sticks and some barbecue.
There you go. Bring it on.
Yeah, you can do it, man, for sure.
Dude, I'm down.
I gotta come up with a honey barbecue sauce now.
Seriously.
I tell you what he has made, dude. That one time we were cooking for a big church outing, or he was cooking. I was standing there watching. And, he said, "Man, you got to try this." He made this bacon bomb, dude. It's like a heart attack in a pack.
Bacon bomb. Yep.
Go on.
Yep. All right. So a bacon bomb is 2 pounds of sausage, ground sausage. I usually use a pound of mild and a pound of hot. You get a pound of bacon, and you make a bacon weave with the raw bacon. So you lay one way, lay the other way, and you make a weave out of it. So you have a square of bacon, and that won't use the whole pound. So you take what's left over, fry it till it's crispy. Lay that bacon weave out, mix the sausage all together, smooth it out over top the bacon. So you've got that. Then you take the fried bacon, break it up into little pieces, sprinkle it around there, put you some dry rub or some barbecue sauce in there, and you roll it up like a sushi log so that bacon's on the whole outside. Stick that thing on a cooker. Cook it low and slow for an hour and a half, dude, until the sausage is done, get you an internal temperature. That thing is the bomb, just like it's called.
Wow. I think I'm going to go feed my baby now. I mean,
honey, we got any bacon?
Yeah, seriously. Man, I was going to pick up some bacon today, too. Goodness.
Yeah. That thing, man, I tell you, when he gave it, when you start eating that thing, you can literally feel your arteries slow.
Yeah, seriously.
Yep.
Goodness.
Yep. Blood pressure going up. Yep.
Yeah.
That'll be Andy's menu. He's like, okay, I'm going home. I'm too hungry.
But then all you gotta do is wash it down with kombucha. That'll lower your blood pressure, make you feel
there you
better.
go. It's all about balance.
Shoot, man. Yeah, that stuff's good. Lone Star says Korean barbecue is good too.
I just made
I
some
love Korean barbecue.
Beef bulgogi the other night. It was awesome. I had some short rib.
Yeah, man, that stuff, like, yeah.
And he made this like ridiculous candied bacon the other day. I'll put it up on his Instagram story. He had it like curing for 3 days, I think he was saying.
Oh wow.
I was like, it was a thing of beauty. He that sounds good. He put it over a stump too, and carved it. Poor Chico.
Hey, our last thrift run, me and Ken. Of course, I always take him to places. Yeah, I always take him to places where he it's funny. I took him to his first yard sale, actively reselling. We were up in Norfolk, which is a lot different than the island. We were in some neighborhoods where we were definitely out of our element, let's just say. And we went to a flea market there, and he's like, dude, I would have never walked into one of these places without you being here. Not your average flea market, like a flea market that has barber shops and all kinds of crazy stuff going on in there, but a lot of stuff that was knockoff, sell it out of the trunk kind of thing. So we went there, but in the parking lot, it actually had a truck, and it said Lumpia on the side of it, right? But then if you got a little closer and you looked at the menu board, it was all in Spanish. I was like, I don't think it's Lumpia. So we saw what it was, and so we rolled up there. I said, "Are you down for the food truck?" Of course, he's like me. We don't discriminate when it comes to food for the most part. So, and we're always trying to try something different. So we get up, and I got the tacos El Pastor. The pork with the pineapple and the sauce, and that was good. And he got tacos La Lengua, which is the cheek and the tongue. So they, it was good, I guess.
Good stuff.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
So, absolutely.
We're always on an adventure. That's one of the things that's fun about reselling too, is you never know where you end up when you're out scouting.
That's it, man. It's part of the adventure, the treasure hunt.
That's it. Yep, we find all kinds of treasure, both monetary and sustenance there.
Culinary.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah,
Yvette, where do you live that you have a huge bacon fest every year? That sounds like a place I want to visit.
Seriously.
Huge bacon fest. I'm not sure where Yvette. I saw earlier she had mentioned that there was a lot of corn and soybean out where she's at.
Yeah, she said she's by Monsanto factory too.
Yeah.
Iowa. Okay.
Ooh.
There you go. Yep, they got a little corn out in Iowa, right?
That'd be a long ways to go for me for bacon.
Yeah. It's only like 2 hours for me, depending where in Iowa. So I have to go. Iowa's like wide open too right now.
My phone does.
Yes, you did, Sean. You did in fact hear bacon.
Yeah, we've been talking about bacon for
10 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean,
For sure.
like if you run a live stream and you feel like things are going bad, just start talking about bacon.
Yeah.
It'll save the whole bacon.
Show. Bacon makes everything better. Right?
That's right.
I actually, some of you guys may not know this about me, but I actually used to have the Subway down where Ken lives, and I ran that thing for about 8 years. So I used to mess with vegetarians on occasionally when they come in, because they're like, they'd get all geeked up about certain things, change your gloves, that kind of thing. So, I'm always joking as well. And so they'd be coming down the line, and I was like, man, what's really good on these veggie subs? And they'd get all in. They think I got like some hummus or something back there, like something extra. And I'll be like, bacon. And they're like, oh, no way. I was like, that just tops off the veggie. So love it when we talk about how to feed scouting resellers. All right, Louis. We will check you later. Des Moines, Iowa, our capital for bacon.
Okay.
Yes, my chat is way behind, guys.
Yeah, I just saw that pop up too.
Yeah, it's definitely behind there. Well, guys, we've been on for a little over an hour and a half. If you guys got any questions for Ken or Sam or myself, we're gonna go ahead and start winding down, unless you got some other recipes we want to share.
No, I say if Ken is, whenever you figure out where your beekeeping, flipping beekeeping channel is, I say give it to Eric so he can post it in the description below. So check back next 24 hours and rewatch the video and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Come get hungry again or inspired to eat.
There you go.
Yeah, that's right.
The patented bacon bomb, if you want to try that for your 4th of July cookout.
Yep.
Yeah. You will not be go away displeased.
Might have to be a future video on the Island Homesteader channel.
Yeah. I see one of that coming. For sure.
I mean, I think it's nice that you guys have that partnership together. So, I mean, just even to do a collab, like actually do a spoof on like how it would go down. You find something an hour away on Facebook Marketplace and ask Eric to pick it up for you.
It's one of those
there
things.
probably aren't a whole lot of other resellers out there asking other ones to pick up product for them.
Sometimes I've thought about that. Like he's messaged me and he says, hey, I got this video game lot, and sometimes it is killer stuff. And I was like, there's a lot of people that would just, hey, you see that $35 game? Here's a Madden 07. But I was like, nah, we go through it. Ken's a great guy, man. He's always been good to me, always been a good friend. And like I said, we look at that, man, and it translates in other ways. I'm thankful. I know, like we said at the beginning of the show, he did 10 grand his first 90 days. And just to be a part of that, that's awesome. And I know it helped those guys out as well, because they're able to come up with more money to put down on their house that they're buying. So
that's awesome, man.
With what's going on.
Yeah, it was a big help. So
that
and everything I learned about eBay, I learned from Eric pretty much. So
yeah, and we're still trying to figure it out. So we can all learn together and help one another. That's one of the great things I do love about the reselling community. For the most part, the people you run into, man, they're eager to help and eager to go about. Joe, I'm not real sure what that was about.
Joe sent me so Joe is kind of like my local Ken, and Joe will send me stuff on Facebook Marketplace, and showed a humongous collection of Winnie the Poohs, like humongous.
Oh man.
And and it's kind of been an inside joke now.
Yeah.
It's like that's a lot of poo.
Dude, I just sold a poo snow globe for like $75 GSP. So,
Yeah.
man, some of that stuff has a little value, but full room of poo, man,
so much poo.
That's a lot of.
But you guys, sub to Ken, man.
A lot of poo.
Yeah.
Go learn about that homesteading.
All right, guys. Well, we're gonna wrap up. Ken, you got anything else you want to share? Obviously.
Nope, I can't think of nothing. I mean, gosh, you guys have pulled a lot out of me already. So, but yeah, go watch my videos. You got any questions? Shoot me questions in the comments. I'm all about answering every single comment I get. Awesome. And helping out people any way I can. So,
yeah,
it's one of those things. Sam, you got anything else?
Ken, thank you so much for coming out. Thank you guys who are in the chat for watching us. Hope everybody has a safe 4th of July. No lighting M80s on the top of your head or holding them. Be super safe if you're messing with fireworks. Eric and I are actually going to be on Kat's channel this Tuesday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern. So come check us out there. So we'll make a little appearance there. And then I know Eric has a little bit he wants to share for next week.
Yep. We're definitely dropping some more videos this week. Be on the lookout for some of my videos coming down. I also, man, I don't know how it actually came about, kind of freaky, but we have Reyes the Entrepreneur will be on our channel next Friday. So you won't want to miss that. If you don't know who Reyes the Entrepreneur is, just check out a couple of videos. I think the guy's hilarious, and he seems like a pretty big-hearted guy. We've been chatting a little bit this week over IG, so you won't want to miss that for sure. And also, man, Andy Sometta, I saw that you commented on the clowns. Those clowns didn't sell in auction, dude. Send me your address. I'll look out for you. I will get up with you anyway. So hit me up on IG, Andy, if you're still here. So thank you guys for being on the show. Ken, thanks for coming on and sharing with us. And Sam, as always, man, we appreciate it. Both these guys' channels are in the description of the video. Make sure you sub up. And if you do like the content we're putting out on this thing, then you can always leave us comments here. If you have ideas for upcoming shows, then we're always anxious to hear other people's opinions. So thank you guys. Y'all have a good evening. Good night. See you guys.
Good night.
Peace. Good night, guys.